package today from Japan, from the proxy service Neokyo. I made several orders over the past month and a half from Mercari Japan and Booth and Melon Books. I believe there should be 28 orders in here, so I'm looking forward to getting into it. I was surprised when we picked it up, though, that this entire corner is ripped open, so that's how it showed up. I'm really hoping everything's okay inside. I'm not sure what to expect when I open it, but gonna get into it, and I hope everything is okay. Yeah, it's just it's just open. Okay, so I don't know. It looks like everything's just inside this bubble wrap, sealed together, so nothing would have fallen out, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this open, get everything unwrapped, because usually every single little thing is wrapped in its own little plastic and it takes me forever to get everything out. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then once I have everything ready to go, I'll go ahead and start going through it. Okay, I'm back and I've got everything unwrapped. It's been a couple hours because I just right away went through everything, made sure nothing was damaged, made sure everything was all right. And unfortunately, there were 2 art books at the bottom of the package that on that corner where it was ripped open, both took some damage. I compared it to the listing photos and they were in pristine condition, and unfortunately, they're no longer in pristine condition, as well as the doujinshi that were on top of the art book. Those each also on that corner got dented in, and just now those doujinshi have creases on the cover and bent pages. So hopefully I'll be able to just kind of press them and they'll flatten, but I am really disappointed about that. What I'm most disappointed about was that when I opened the bubble wrap from the top of the package, it literally looked like they had just taken the loose single trading cards and just placed them on top of the uneven pile of books and merch, and then just loosely closed the bubble wrap. So I was just really, really disappointed about that, because the one trading card that was the most expensive one was just a single card just sitting right on top when I opened it. And if it had just slipped to the edge of the stack, it would have gotten folded in half and been ruined. So once I got everything opened up and unwrapped, I just had to take some time this evening to just calm down and just cool my head a bit, because I was pretty upset. So now I'm ready to go through everything. So because I was checking everything individually, making sure everything was okay, my husband too pulled out his stuff and opened it up. So for his goods, he got a few fan books. So this one from NieR. I'm not going to flip through them though, because he said that some of these have spoilers for content I haven't seen yet. These ones I do not believe are rated explicit. So 1 for NieR, and then 2 for Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So he is a big fan of both of these series, so I'm glad that he's been finding artists he likes and getting some of their work. Next is 2 art books from a series that I'm pretty new to, and these 2 art books are actually the highlight of this whole order. I'm so happy with them. I've already thoroughly flipped through both of them, and they're both from a manga series that I just read in December called Laughing Under the Clouds, as well as some of the additional content related to that series, so the sequel and prequel spin-offs. There is the main series that is 6 volumes, and then a 3-volume sequel, and then a 1-shot sequel, and then a 1-shot prequel, and then a 14-volume prequel. So I believe this is more from the main story and the sequels that are in the same timeline as or the same time frame as the main story. And then I believe this one has more of the prequel content with characters like 300 years earlier than the main story. But I'll flip through a little bit. I love the design of this art book. So it has a desk jacket that has this like marbled look. But look how gorgeous this cover is. The texture of it and just, it's so beautiful. But I'll go ahead and flip through it a little bit. I'm so happy with it too. I thought that it was going to have mainly just the volume covers because these are volume covers. But I was okay with that because this is a large art book. So I thought I'll get those illustrations blown up on a bigger page. So these are all volume covers. But then after these volume covers, because this is only a 6-volume series, there's just tons of art. And then these are covers from the 3-volume continuation. And then after that is just really gorgeous art. Some of the different characters. It's really funny too. I had flipped through earlier and there are some like modern AU illustrations as well. I really like this guy in the series. Ooh. But yeah, I'm a big fan of this series. Ever since I read it, I got a bit obsessed with it. These handsome guys. But it's a historical set series with some supernatural elements. Oh my gosh. So these are some of the modern AU pages. He's got a little track jacket on instead of the typical yukata. He's got headphones on. Okay, so I said I wasn't going to do like a full flip through, but just kind of skimmed through a little bit. Now it's introducing some characters from the prequel series, which I believe in English is called Laughing in Purgatory. That's a scene from that one. And then the guy from the prequel that I like. I'm so impressed by this. And the prequel, 14-volume prequel, doesn't have an English release, so wow. These are stunning. I really like this art book. But the prequel series doesn't have an English release, so I read the fan translations of it. And I really hope that more of this universe, more of this series will get an official English release because I just love the art and the story is really good. And then the second book. Ooh. Yeah, so this is what I was meaning. The hardcover was in perfect condition in the listing, and it's like, not only did it get dented in, but like it's cracked. It's cracked on the cover. Like, so disappointed. But I'll just keep the desk jacket on it and try to forget. But I think this art book is predominantly the prequel characters and content, because this is two of the main characters from That 14 volume prequel series. This got... So these are all volume covers as well. So it's starting out with those volume covers. Which are really gorgeous. I really love the art in this series. Ooh. I believe this is one of the one-shot cover illustrations. But just really gorgeous art. Then we're back to the main series, the guys from the main series. So, Laughing Under the Clouds, highly, highly recommend this one. It's a 6-volume series published by Tokyo Pop. I love this. Ah! But as soon as I read the series and found out there were art books, I immediately ordered them because I just fell in love with the series. Oh, this is such a cool illustration. I think this might be in one of the volumes as like a color page. I'm so impressed. I didn't see a flip through of this one before I got it. I was just having faith, having faith in the mangaka that they would deliver after having such a good series and just gorgeous art in the series and the covers. Oh, these are new characters though, or different characters, so I don't know if this is part of the same world or if this is a different series. He looks kind of like one of the other characters, but it might just be a similar design. Oh, Mars Red is another one of their series, so maybe I'll have to check that out and see what these guys are all about. I don't know. But 2 new gorgeous art books to add to my art book collection. I'm really, really happy with these. The next thing in my order that I have is these official art prints from the series Oto Tomare. So there was an event where people could go and print these at the konbeni in Japan. And this is, I think, the second time they've done this. The first time they did it, I did order secondhand some of those art prints. And so this time too, I wanted to get a hold of them. And this listing that I ordered from didn't have every single one of the different illustrations, but it had the ones that I wanted. I think actually both of these are probably my favorites of these 2 pairs of kiddos. So Oto Tomare is a high school set series that follows a group of kids that are in a koto club. And I love it. It's one of my favorite, one of my top favorite manga series after Wotakoi Love is Hard for Otaku, which is my #1 favorite. So I gotta have everything there is to have of this series. I love these kids so much. And it's kind of funny. I wonder if the art that's printed, to be 2 on 1 sheet, if they're meant to be cut and made into photo cards or something. I don't know. But I'm really happy I was able to get a hold of this because during the event, I didn't see many secondhand listings. And then I believe this listing was the same seller that listed it multiple times. And a friend in Germany who also loves this series snagged one of those copies, and then they just went ahead and relisted it with the exact same photos. And then I ordered a copy of the prints as well. So I'm just glad we were both able to secure copies of these illustrations, and I'm gonna get these into my album. I have an album of Oto Tomare prints that I store them in. I'm glad that I got these, but highly recommend that series as well. It's a shonen kind of club series since it is set in high school and follows this group of students that are in this club. And next, and I'm realizing right now that this is the only volume of manga that I got in this order. And the reason I got it, just a random Japanese volume 6, is because this volume was a special edition that came with an art book, and I had to get this art book. So I'll do a really quick flip through of this manga volume, even though it's volume 6, just to show what the art style is like. So the series is called Veil, and it did just get an English license. So in 2024, we're going to get maybe the first 2 omnibus volumes, maybe just one. I'm not sure when the release date is, but in English, we're getting 2-in-1 omnibus volumes that are hardcovers. So I am looking forward to that release. But this series is a full color, just really stylish. I love the art style. And in between every chapter, there's just gorgeous art. I feel like the art style and just the storytelling in this series is kind of like seductive and like sultry, but it's just, and really dramatic. But I have read ahead in the fan translations, so I think I've only read into volume 5 though. But just really a unique series. I'm looking forward to the English release. Happy that it got picked up. But so since the manga is in color, they released an art book that has black and white illustrations and sketches. So just looking at this a little, the art book is inside a little sleeve. And it says monochrome sketches, which is kind of cool. It's hardcover. Wow. I love it already. Maybe this side's the front. I did already see a little flip through of this from a friend who got theirs earlier. She made a reel on Instagram, and I just went ahead and watched it because I was so curious what it would be like. But I like the guy in it. Follows a blind woman and a police officer. It is a bit historical, not like way back in history, but just several decades ago. But then it's really neat to see the fashion and the settings to match that. But this order was made because I wanted this really gorgeous art book. So now I've got this started in my collection, even though I was planning on getting the first omnibus pre-ordered when it releases as well. And then I got this little standee. It's pretty tiny. It's just this rectangle, and then the stand that it goes in, it's an acrylic stand from, sorry, I'm trying to get it without a glare. It's from Love of Kill, Ranghan Chateau. Not gonna open it right now, but I'm really happy because it's brand new. I have seen this illustration before in the art book, but the series just ended. In English, the main story just ended with volume 13, and in Japan, they released a volume 14 with a compilation of side stories. So I'm really, really hoping that Yen Press will, in English, translate and print and release a volume 14 for us as well with those side stories. But ever since the main story came to an end, I've been just keeping an eye on any Love of Kill listings, anything with Rangha, because I expect that as the series has come to an end in Japan with volume 14 releasing in February, I think that the resale of goods, just standees or prints or just any merch from this series are going to kind of slow down and dry up a bit. So I'm just trying to pick up what I can as I can find things at reasonable prices. So really happy that I found this one and was able to snag one. And I'm going to get it set up later on my Love of Kill shelf. They're so cute! And then another bit of merch that I got is from the series Blue Sky Complex, which follows these two boys. The series starts with them in high school and then follows them into university. And I believe it's into volume 9 right now for volumes that have been released. So I'm sure if there are new chapters being serialized, it's already into volume 10. But this is a series that I do enjoy quite a bit. I read the series in December and wanted to get some additional merch. I do own the volumes in Japanese. This series doesn't have an English release yet. And then I also own several of the booklets, the anthology volumes, and the art books because I just love this mangaka's art style. So I wanted to get the 2024 calendar that would have just a lot of new art prints from the mangaka. And then when I ordered this one, I saw that the 2023 calendar was still in stock. And I knew that I loved some of the illustrations in this one because of some friends on Instagram who have been posting the past year with every new month, the new illustration. So I thought I would just go ahead and get them. But I'll flip through them really quick. This is the 2023, so last year's calendar and the different illustrations. And then each one has a little calendar on the side. But I really, really like the main characters in this series. Him especially, he's my favorite. I believe some of these illustrations have since been printed in the newest art book. So I'll have to double check because if they are in there, then I won't need to be as possessive about having this calendar. But the way this calendar works, it's in like a kind of CD case style thing, but then it acts as a stand. So then you just rotate the first card and then it's on display as a calendar. But I have this set of prints from the calendar last year. And then this year's actually has an extra little print in the back. So the one cover illustration. Each of the cards. This is one of the doujinshi covers. This is so cute. I like this guy too, the hairdresser. And then it has another little card that has all of the different illustrations on it. So I thought that was neat. And as far as calendars, I usually don't buy calendars because I just use a digital calendar on my computer. But this past year, I just got jealous seeing everyone on Instagram with manga and anime calendars and just new print illustrations, new illustrations that were in calendars only and didn't have releases in art books. So I just wanted to get this one. When I saw its release information, I wanted to get a copy for myself. And the next is a fan book before I get into a few different One Piece goods. So this is a fan book from this mangaka, Isaku Natsume sensei. And their work that I'm most familiar with is Candy Color Paradox. But I've been really intrigued by this mangaka ever since I found out that they really love One Piece, and they've done tons and tons of ZoSan doujinshi over the years. And I find it funny that my first piece by this mangaka that I ever bought and owned in my collection was a ZoSan doujinshi. So I wanted to get this fan book. When I found out about it, I didn't know it existed until I saw my friend doing a little collection tour live on Instagram, and I was like, wait, what's that? But I won't just flip through it because I believe it does have some explicit content. And I was actually surprised that I would say about 80% of this book is just like bonus chapters from their characters of their different series. So I feel like it's kind of like an anthology. But then there is a small section where it has like a ranking, I think a very short Q&A, some character profiles, I believe, but then also a few color pages. And that's what always gets me. I love art books. And so when a mangaka releases an art book, but then even just a fan book with just like a little bit of color art, I'm just like, okay, I have to get it. I'm not super familiar with their other works though. I'd have to check online and see a list of what their series are, but Candy Color Paradox is the one that I'm most familiar with. I think there's another series that I'm familiar with, but then I just can't remember off the top of my head. But they have a really distinct art style. Enough that when I saw those doujinshi of Zoro and Sanji, I thought it looked so familiar. And then I just wasn't surprised when I realized what it was and who it was from. So those color pages, and then the rest are just basically chapters. So, oh, and then looks like the end has some Q&A, behind the scenes. So very cool. I love art books, but then I really like fan books too, just getting some of that extra content from the mangaka about their characters, about their series. So happy that I was able to get a copy of this one as well. Okay, and then next for my One Piece goods, I got 4 doujinshi, and I'm really, really happy I was able to get a hold of these. So I'll just start with this one here. Not gonna flip through it. These are all 18 plus fan books, but I was really happy that I was able to find this one because I had been looking for it. After reading it online, I did read a fan translation of it and then went looking for the physical copy of it. 1, so that I could have it, but then 2, so that I could show my support of the artist that wrote this story. So really happy I found this one. And then next, this is another one that I had been searching and searching for. These 3 are all by the same artist. One of them is in an anthology, but 2 of these are from the same artist, and the third one that is an anthology has some of their work in it as well. But this one I was just dying to have from the from the cover. It's Sanji tied up in rope, but I really like this artist. I follow them on Twitter, and I've also been searching for the first volume of this Unsecret series, which hasn't gotten a reprint, but as soon as I saw this one got a reprint, I snagged it immediately. I'm so glad I was able to get a hold of it, and I'm hoping the other one will get a reprint soon as well so I can get it as well. But this artist does a lot of very sensual drawings of both Sanji and Zoro in their 40s and 60s. In the series, there is official art of Sanji as a 40-year-old and Sanji and Zoro as 40-year-olds, and then also as 60-year-olds. And so they just took that and have made a ton of gorgeous fan art. But this is the artist. And in the timestamps, I'll put their Twitter handle so that if you want to check out their work, you can. But I won't flip through it because a lot of their stuff has explicit content, so. But I'm a big fan of this artist, and I'm really glad I was able to get a hold of this fan book by them. And then next, these 2. So this one is pretty thin, but I'm really, really happy I got it. There's one spread that has a page of Sanji and then a page of Zoro just throughout the years as they've aged from 20 to 40, and I just thought it was really cool. And then this is the anthology, and it's a bit thicker. And I'm not sure if this is different artists or the different names of their works, but I have been collecting fanzines in English from English artists and writers, and so I just think it's really cool to get a fan book anthology from Japanese artists and fans of this One Piece ship, ZoSan, that came together to make this little project. So I'm really excited to go through this, and hopefully I'll be able to find some new artists to look up and maybe start following on Twitter. So I have 2 more Sanji goods that I was really excited to get, and then I'm going to get into some of the trading cards. I saved the trading cards for last because if anyone's just not interested in trading cards, then you can just go ahead and click off there if you want to. But I got this little Sanji little plush of him in his raid outfit, and I was really happy that I found this secondhand because when I was in Japan, I did get 2 of his little plush outfits. One of them, he was in a suit, and then the other one, he was in his Wano yukata. And so now I've got a third one in this outfit. And I know there are some others as well that I don't have, and I'm just kind of watching to see what I can find, but this is one that I wanted to pick up. So cute! And then I also got this acrylic birthday display for Sanji. So when we were in Japan, we went to the Mugiwara store, and it was during their sale of all of their October birthday goods. And so there were plenty in stock for October birthdays, but then Sanji is a March birthday, and while they had a little bit of stock for other characters of their birthday standees, not just the standees, but they also have little birthday plushes, as well as just little keychains and things like that. But I wanted to get this when we were at the Mugiwara store, but they were sold out of Sanji. They had so many characters available, but they had sold out of Sanji. So I was really glad. Secondhand, I was able to find a new and unused listing for his standee. So I'm not going to open it yet. I'm going to wait. His birthday is coming up in about a month, so I'm going to open it around then and get it set up. I'm really, really happy that I found it. And I'm not sure where I'm going to put it on my shelf, though, because I don't have a ton of space because of all of my figures and, of course, all of my One Piece volumes, but I'll find a spot for it. And then lastly, I have all of my trading cards. And to be honest, it's a little absurd. So I'm not going to go through all of these. I didn't intentionally buy all of these. I had specific ones I wanted, and there were some sets where they were in bundles with other cards that I found it to be the best deal to just order some of those sets to be able to get the cards I wanted. But I'll go ahead and go through the ones that I purposefully ordered. And so for my One Piece trading card game card collection, I predominantly collect only Sanji. But I have a few other characters that I collect that I'm trying to only have one of their cards, or now for a couple characters, just a few of their cards. I'm trying to have self-control because I could just go off the deep end and collect cards of all of my favorites, and it would be expensive and it would be a big challenge. But so I'm trying to maintain self-control. But in addition to the Sanji cards from the new starter deck and the new booster packs that I wanted to get, the one I wanted the most was this new Shanks card. I'm so happy I was able to find a listing. He's so handsome. And I absolutely love this art. It's so gorgeous. I can't believe that this is official art of Shanks. I'm so happy that I have this now. I have one other card of Shanks, and I was going to try to have it just be one card only of non-Sanji characters, but the other one I have of Shanks is just stunning, and then this one released, and I was like, now I have to get it too. So now I have 2 Shanks cards and a few more Sanji cards. So I was really, really excited about these 2 from the booster packs. So really happy I was able to get these ones. And then I got those in a set that also came with a Zoro card, and I don't collect Zoro, so I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this card or not, but it is really cool, so I haven't decided yet. But while I said I don't collect Zoro, I kind of do when he's with Sanji. So I already had this card of Sanji, and it has Zoro in the background. But then I wanted to get the matching card from Zoro's side that has from the other angle of this illustration with Sanji in the background. So I'm pretty much just getting every card that has Sanji in it, even if he's little and tiny or in the background or whatever. So now I have these 2 cards of them matching that I'm gonna put together in my album. And then this new Dawn card that is from that same scene, but it has them both in the illustration. So now I have these 3 cards like a little trio. And I don't count them as Zoro cards because they're Sanji cards. He's in them. And then next, a couple event cards. So this one of Sanji. So I am just collecting every card that has Sanji in it. So event cards, Dawn cards, stage cards. But I love when he's more like prominently featured, like this one from Thriller Bark. Gotta get them all. And then, in addition to my Sanji cards, I decided I wanted to collect any cards that were Sanji related, even if he wasn't in them. So with the new booster pack, having a bunch of Germa 66 cards, I decided to get a bunch of them. So first, one of Zeff, I wanted to get one of him to put in the Bratier section of my album. This one was so cool. He has a few different cards, but this new one, he looked really good. And I think this is from the flashback, so before he was working at the restaurant. So I got that one. And then I had to get a bunch of the Germa 66 cards. So this event card and stage card that has the location, and then the event card with the 4 of them and the dad. So as soon as I found out about all these cards, I was organizing my card album, and I left a big 8-card opening to get all these cards set up. So I'm really excited to do that this week. And then along with those cards, I got some of these family cards. So Judge, Sanji's mom, and I love this detail. The food Sanji made is emitting this purple poison energy from it. And then Reiju, Ichiji, Niji, and Yonji. And when I was getting these 4, I wanted to get them specifically in these outfits. And each one of them had versions in more casual outfits, and then Reiju also had a leader card. But these were the ones I wanted to collect. And in getting these ones, I, by chance, also got their casual outfit cards for the 3 of them, as well as Reiju's casual and her leader card. So I'm not sure if I'm going to keep these ones because I like the other ones better, and I don't feel like I need to be a completionist with their cards. But I think my husband is going to keep these ones and add them to his girl collection of Vivi, Robin, and Hancock. I'll have the third version of Reiju, but then he'll have these 2. And then in addition to all of these cards that I purposefully purchased, I do have a few duplicates of the Vinsmoke cards and the Germa 66 cards. And then I just have a ton of random Marines cards and then some extra Zeff that I just don't want because I don't collect these characters. So I'm not sure yet. I might just try to find some One Piece friends who collect these cards or are wanting these, as well as my Sanji duplicates. So even though I got a bunch of cards that aren't Sanji cards, I'm happy I was able to get a hold of these ones, and for pretty good prices too. It was frustrating whenever I was just getting a small listing of 1 or 2 cards. It was only 300 yen, but then I had to pay a transaction fee for those cheaper orders still. But really, really happy I was able to get Shanks and his new card, as well as these Zoro Sanji ones, so that I could kind of complete my page of their cards that they're together. And then my 4 new Sanji cards, I'm really happy about them. So Yay! Really, really excited to go through my album probably tomorrow and add all my new cards. But this is everything this time around with this order. Honestly, I'm really disappointed with how my order was packed, that they just had my trading cards balanced on top of these uneven piles without any protection other than just bubble wrap just loosely on top of them. I'm also disappointed that I had 2 heavy hardcover art books, and with consolidating 28 orders, they just had 1 sheet of bubble wrap that they wrapped around everything loosely together, rather than maybe wrapping my 2 hardcover art books together in bubble wrap and then wrapping the smaller items together in bubble wrap. So honestly, I've kind of lost faith in Neokyo for carefully packaging larger orders. So I do have a few pre-orders that I've made that I've ordered items to Neokyo. So I am going to continue using Neokyo, but I think I will try to find another proxy service to try ordering from to see if I can find another one that I could maybe use for purchasing trading cards, because I just am not happy with how they were so unprotected. I've been really happy with Neokyo when it comes to their portal and their interface, but I'm just going to kind of see what my other options are. I've also been really happy with their shipping options, that they have a big range of shipping options with prices that you can choose, but I am just going to see what some of my other options are. But I hope you enjoyed watching as I went through all my goods after having a bit of a scare when I opened my package and just needing to frantically go through everything off camera and then have a cool down period. But apart from the damage to the art books and doujinshi, I'm really happy with everything that I got today. And I'll see you again soon in another video. Thanks for watching.